Life is a crowdsourcing experience.
Yeah, dude.
The people you surround yourself around is going to determine how you uplevel yourself.
I'ma need a little more. I'ma need a little more. I ain't trying to even score. So glad you're outdoor. But I'ma need more. I'ma need more. Yeah. Had a little taste of the cake. I can't wait. Step on the stage and I rage. I feel like a fiend for applause. Breathe when you hit the school.
What's up, man? How you doing, man?
Good to
Congratulations,
see you. Thank
man.
you. It's a little bit different, right?
Yeah. No, this is good stuff, man. We was just, you know, it's so funny, man, because last time we spoke, we was talking about how you took it from one level to another level, and now you just elevated to a whole nother level again.
Yeah, this is a totally different game.
Yeah.
Everything's changed. We have this area here where you can just sit down and relax.
Yeah.
And you see, we've got Clue, we have Monopoly. I mean, this is day one. We opened
Yeah.
So this is a game everyone knows, right? Like Clue, but we do the luxury edition. So we're already setting the stage. Like, this isn't your regular game store. Yeah, this table here is like, it's actually my personal table. We brought it in to the game store because it's impressive.
Yeah, remember, you had this at your house.
Create whatever you want to build and play. So it's a very modifiable form of Dungeons & Dragons, which is really cool, and you know, explains all the rules and what have you.
I'm trying to figure out what inspired you to do just board games.
The main thing was my kids are obsessed with screens, and I wanted them off the screen, and I wanted them interacting with me, with each other. And I was like, how am I going to compete with YouTube? How am I going to compete with video games? How am I going to compete with Fortnite? My kid's doing this freaking thing all the time. Like, yeah, exactly. You know, like how am I going to stop?
You get bruised when I move my pieces. Yo, it's D&D, and I'm Arthur M.A.D. to the D.O.X. I rock bars regardless.
We literally opened 4 hours ago, so we've been open 4 hours.
Yeah.
But this will be, when it's finished, the communal playing area. So this is where the kids can come and they can play games. But we show people stuff like this to inspire them. We're like, hey, we'd like you to go and do something like this.
Yeah.
You know? And every technique that I used on her, I can teach anybody how to do.
So did this come naturally, or is this you having a bunch of mentors, or?
It's mentors, yeah. So actually, good example. So I showed you mine. Mine's not as good as this. This is a gold medal winner. This is one of my mentors. I have 4 different painting mentors. I work with them.
So you trained under a bunch of people?
All the time, still. I did an hour-long class on Friday. I train still, all day, every day, with the best in the world. I mean, I've got one of my instructors lives in Spain. One of my instructors lives in San Diego, Seattle.
Yeah, one of my principles I always say is there are no self-made people.
Nope.
Life is a crowdsourcing experience.
Yeah, dude.
The people you surround yourself around is going to determine how you uplevel yourself.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, so
dude, I literally I have a mergers and acquisitions mentor that is the one that guided me through being able to. If you remember, we purchased this for $0 out of pocket.
Yeah.
The business funded everything. I didn't touch anything.
How many mentors did you have in order to make this dream happen? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. So I got my mergers and acquisitions mentor, Roland Fraser, and then I've got a mentor who specializes in online sales and stuff like that. So it'd be him. Then there would be the people that taught me how to build tables and Warhammer.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's easily 2 or 3 there. Then the painting experts, another 3 or 4.
Yeah. So multiple.
Yeah. I mean, by the time we finish this, I mean, you're looking at a collection of probably 15 of the most influential people in my life.
Mm-hmm. So how did you develop these relationships with these let's call them teachers or tutors? You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna hate this, but I'll tell you, I paid for it.
No.
And I think people,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, people misunderstand the importance of paying for advice, but I have no shame or no fear in paying for advice. So I'll give you an example. I wanted to learn stage combat. So I found the person that organized all the stage combat for Hook, the old Peter Pan and movie, with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And they were running stage combat classes.
I used to love that movie, by the way.
Me too. I love the film.
Yeah.
I love this choreography, like Rufio, all that stuff. So So I found the stage combat director who hadn't worked for years, but I loved what they'd done in the past. And they had a stage combat school in LA. And I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I'd like to learn stage combat. They go, we have classes. I was like, I don't want classes. I want 1 hour of your time. How much would you get paid for 1 hour of your time on a film set for you to be 100% present? And they were like, $500. And I was like, I'll send you $500. I want 1 hour of your time. I want you to treat me as if I am your highest paying client and truly give me 1 hour of your time.
You know, what I think, I love stories like that because what it reveals is the mentality that you're willing to go to in order to achieve your goal, right?
I want to be clear, I didn't have money back then.
Yeah.
That 500, that was 3 months of putting that money aside to have the 500. So when I rock up and I tell them, here's $500, they look at me and they're like, what do you do for a living? And I was like, well, I'm kind of
figuring it out, right?
And they're like, where did you get the 500 from? And I was like, I've been saving it up for months.
Yeah.
And they're like, why didn't you just join our class? Like, you don't understand. The questions I have for you, I didn't want to be that guy monopolizing all the other students' time, but I wanted your 100% undivided attention. I hung out with them for 3 days.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me leave.
When you invest in other people in terms of paying to pay for that advice, you're actually investing in yourself.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But more importantly, they see how serious you are, and so they become invested in you. So it's like a double investment. They become invested in you and your success because not only they want to get paid again, but they see that you're serious and that you're different from most people, and then you're also investing in yourself. Even though you think, you know, most people think, hey, I'm giving up this money, but you're not really giving up. The money that you're giving is nothing compared to the value you're going to receive. So tell me where that sword comes from, because I'm going to tell you, it looks like a Conan.
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Ah, Conan the Barbarian sword.
That's the Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Good spot.
Yeah. I'm a big Conan the Barbarian fan.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
I love those.
I still go back and forth between what's better, Conan the Barbarian versus Conan the Destroyer.
And Red Sonja's in there. You got to throw Red Sonja in there.
Yeah. Oh, Red Sonja is the.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
Good film.
If you yield only to a conqueror, then prepare to be conquered, little Sonia.
Damn, that's crazy. I just got through meeting with Adam. Shout out to Adam Lyons, man, and his store, Bastrop Games and Hobbies. And he took it from one level to another level. Now, the thing is, it was at a loss. Then it started making profit. Then he was able to elevate from one bidder to the next bidder. And the reason why this means a lot to me, the reason why I wanted to come back and talk to Adam again was because he took it to another level in a pandemic, and it's a board game store. And you should start thinking, most people would tell him, don't do that. Everything is on, digital now, on your phones and all this, that, and the other. And he came up with an idea that he had and created something dope. And the science behind that is nothing is more powerful than an idea, right? You take your idea and then you feed that idea. You learn how to execute that idea. There's nothing more powerful than that. Execution on your idea. It doesn't matter what the idea is, as long as the idea is genuinely yours, and as long as something that you're passionate about, and as long as it's something that you see something that is fitting a need. Those are the key things, and there's just nothing more powerful than that. And one of the more important things than even that is learning how to network. The importance of understanding networking is key. How you develop that networking thing, it could be a myriad of different ways, but you have to understand is nothing should get in the way of your information. Nothing. Whether it's you gotta pay for it, sometimes you even gotta move, sometimes you gotta, just whatever the case may be, nothing should get in the way of getting you that information, because that information is key. The information is what changes you from having an idea to actually turning something into reality. Because what actually stops you from doing anything is the fact that you just don't know how to do it. So if you can go from not knowing how to do something to knowing how to do something, doesn't matter what it costs, then you'll do it. That's the reason why it's important to network, because you're building with people that has been to where you're trying to go, and you're trying to get to where they already are, or you're trying to, take their information that they have and move into your own level or do your own thing, but you have to get the information first. Yeah, shout out to Sessel too. I saw Sean while in the store. Sean was somebody I actually worked with in the past too before.
Yeah. No, I did a video with Travis Wayback, still by far like my most watched video.
Yeah.
Absolutely epic video. You have to have faith in yourself, in your potential, in your destiny.
But tell me more about, what you got going on, because I was loving what you were doing with the Oculus Institute, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me a little bit about where it's at now.
Yeah, well, so, I'm still coaching. Obviously, I launched the book. The book didn't get the reception that I hoped it would. And so, I went over to Adam. I said, Adam, I didn't sell as many of these as I wanted to sell. And he said, well, the person you need to talk to is Tucker Max. So I went to Tucker, who's 4 New York Times bestseller, 4 times.
Yeah.
And I hired him to be my book coach. So I'm actually upgrading the book, I'm really, really happy with the upgraded version.
So number one key before we go, what's the number one key to success, man? Number one key.
Number one key to success is to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So many people, they bullshit themselves and then they bullshit other people, often unintentionally.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're not clear with themselves about what their real fears are. They're not true to themselves about what they really want. They're not willing to admit when they're wrong. They're not willing to admit their flaws. And if you can't admit your flaws, you're never going to overcome it.
Amen to that, brother, man. Man, that's so true, man. One of the things I learned is when you operate with integrity, when you're always doing a good job, you always develop positive relationships with people, even with past clients. Like with my past clients, I still have good relationships with them. Sean Sessel was meeting up with Adam. I didn't even know this. He was meeting up with Adam, and I seen him in there, and he's doing well now. He's still doing his coaching. He has a book out, and he has this program going, and I love seeing people continue to progress, continue to advance, continue to, put out good content and just become better and better at what they do. And he's a good example of that. So always do a good job, because that is going to come back on you in the long run. And number two, you never know how that business is going to come back around again in order to help you elevate as well. So always do a good job, always have a good reputation, always build good relationships, and do your job in executing what you know you're good at.
Never let your so-called mans know your plans. How many of us have them? A show of hands is a term some people use loosely. I'm real choosy on what I choose to let crew see. You telling me I try to act broke?
I used to hate having to miss being with the people I love, doing activities and doing things that I love to do because I had to be at work. That happened so often to me that it got to the point where I started thinking, how do I create a life for myself where I don't have to constantly miss those things? And once I finally got there, once I got to the place that I'm at now, it just feels so good. It feels so amazing. It feels so good that it's a feeling that I want everybody else to have. Working a 9 to 5, I just couldn't fathom the idea that I had to do this for the rest of my life until I'm 65 years old and then I'm free. It just never sat right with me. It never made sense to me. And so I just couldn't work a 9 to 5 more than 2 years. I couldn't do it. I became bored. I became stagnated at the job. I thought always thought they was doing something unethical. It wasn't until I was able to live my freest self that I really, truly understood what happiness is, getting that burden off your shoulders, always feeling pressure by society, always feeling pressure about this and that. When you're happy doing what you love, all that stuff goes away. It's kind of like when you were a kid. Remember when you was a kid and you know how we all want to go back to when we were a kid? The reason why you want to go back to when you were a kid because you were free of responsibilities. You were free to exist how you wanted to. You did what you wanted to do. That's how I feel now. That's the feeling I want for you. That's the feeling I want for everybody. I don't want to miss being present in a moment like this because I'm doing something that somebody else wants me to do. You know? I appreciate you. Subscribe for more. Like, comment.